Please show me the way, baby, to your heart. Please show me the way, baby, to your heart. And I think it's better for me to be with you. And nothing is better for me. Nothing is better. Baby, show me some love songs, 'cause tonight I wanna fall in love. You told me you love me too. I wanna believe you. And I'm ready to fall. And I'm ready to fall.
Hello, my soul family. Welcome to day 2 of the Lightworker University virtual worldwide event of 2020. Thank you all for being here today, watching this video, this speech that is going to be so eye-opening and so illuminating as to changing and shifting our mindset for this new world, this new life that's coming, and this new chapter that is awaiting. So today's topic is going to be that of hope. I know that many people around the world, all ages, are in this dilemma between what do I do with my life? What's going on? How do I fit? Nothing goes right. Or why does this keep happening? It's too hard. Or I've lost hope in love, in my dreams, in my happiness. And all of these things, these emotions, these fears, these thoughts, this dialogue that happens in our minds is taking us further away from this paradise world that's trying to show up for you. We need to stand in our truth. And what is our truth? It's living a high vibrational life. Joy. Think of yourself as if you're in a festival right now. Think of the responsible happiness that is all around in that festival. That's how we all should be living on a daily basis. Back in the day, many tribes used to live like that. And of course, what happened to disrupt that peace was war, was greed, was violence, was deaths. All of these things ruined that joy. But it doesn't mean that that joy is not available despite what happens, right? Because life is up and downs. Life is a struggle. It is, even for the happiest of people. But the ironic thing is that the happiest people are actually the ones that struggle the most. For example, I'm not going to say that I'm the happiest all the time, but internally, I am the happiest I've ever been. I'm at the most peace that I've ever been. Because we all get tired, right? Those are the only times when, you might not feel giddy or overly happy, right? But it doesn't mean that you're not joyous inside. It has nothing to do with that. And like I said in day 1, I've made a commitment to God to live every day at my best, at my highest happy vibration, despite who's around me, despite where I'm at in my life, with my goals, with whatever's happening externally from my own world, right? Because those things are uncontrollable and they're gonna happen. That's life. That's the test, right? It wouldn't be a test if everything were so sunshine and rainbows all the time. But you can shift your mindset to be yes, that of one, right? Because despite what happens, it doesn't penetrate your aura. Despite who tries to project onto you, it doesn't penetrate your aura. Despite what challenges you're dealing with, you don't let it bring you down, but rather you use it to bring yourself up. It fires you up to conquer those challenges, and then you have a bigger boost. You see, because you've conquered what you thought you couldn't conquer. You've surpassed your expectations, your limitations, and you've discovered your true potential. And the only way that we can do that is by continuously having hope. So don't lose the biggest gift of us all, which is hope. God blessed us and gave us this gift of hope for a better future, hope for a new beginning, hope for better things to come when we're going through struggles. Why do you think the whole Bible is based off that, for example? Many religions are based off that. And this is not about religion, but at the core of it, it all goes back to hope. So hope is the one thing that you should never ever let slip your hands, your fingers. Because once that goes away, that's when you die spiritually. So don't let that fire burn away. That hope that gives you continuous passion and drive for pushing and pushing, for striving for a better you. So definitely check out my 10-week intensive soul coaching program. It's my new program called A New You, where I teach you step by step, week by week, for 10 weeks, how to heal from the inside out. These are all based off therapeutic methods, but above all, is based on experience. I've dealt with that, and that's what's helped me on my journey. And I've discovered those 10 main themes to be the most crucial in a reinvention, in a transformation of self. To begin a life living as your higher self. Letting go of the ego, letting go of the past, letting go of all that doesn't serve you anymore, because it's too heavy. It's gone. So let us sit down and let's get a little bit more comfortable for today's theme. I'm so excited as to what we're going to talk about today, what messages want to come through, because this is huge. And this is where I want to begin, actually. What happens when people lose hope? Depression, right? What is depression at the core? Depression is being depressed, right? When you depress something, you're smushing it. Depress. And why is that depressed? Because it's been pressed, it's been pressured, right? So it's funny, but it's like when you press someone's buttons, they get triggered, right? Creating anger, creating sadness and depression. Why do people get depressed? Even from anger, right? Because depression comes from feeling helpless or hopeless. Maybe, like we spoke about in day one, you're being treated unfairly. Or maybe your life has been a series of injustices. Or maybe you just lost all energy and motivation for life. And why is that? Because there's no purpose. When you have a divine purpose, there's no way that you can lose hope. Because God is guiding you every step of the way. And when we tap into that purpose that we each individually have here on earth, that's what keeps us alive, passionate, spiritually alive, right? Because we choose to surpass whatever comes our way, because we just know that we need to get to that destination. So anything that comes your way is like, get out of my way. I'm in a hurry to get to God. And the more of a warrior of light you become on your journey, you become so strong that you can defend yourself, right? Which is why you can clear the way to keep going, because you become stronger. You become wiser. Think of the book The Alchemist. It's the same story, which is a book that I'm going to be talking about in my spiritual book club. And that book, it says it all. It's about destiny. It's about fate. When you have your destiny and when you're awakened to that fate, it's going to happen no matter what, right? That's the definition of fate. It's what's going to happen, what God means for you to happen, right? Is whatever God put you here to do. Destiny is based on free will, right? If you choose to go on that destiny, or if you choose to let it slip away, if you choose to reach new heights, or you choose to stay stuck in the same old. And reaching new heights requires stepping outside our comfort zone. It requires taking leaps of faith, jumping past our fears, doing the uncomfortable, doing the untaken road, right? Being different, thinking big, outside the scope of things, and seeing ahead. And when you've seen the grand vision of it all, this gives you hope for the present. Because in the present moment is when you take the action to change your future, right? The past is what teaches us how to better act in the present. In the present lies all the power. Because your presence in the present, you get it? Your presence in the present determines your future. So the only way that you can create your own hope is by taking action. So that's what hope is equated to in my eyes. It's equated to action. Because you create your own luck. You create your own destiny by taking divinely guided action, right? God is always speaking to you. God is always showing you through signs, through inspirations that come to you. That's God speaking to you. But it's up to you if you choose to listen and do it or not, right? Now, if you choose to rebel against these godly words, then that's where you get stuck, right? You get stuck in life, and then you don't know why you spiral down. Because that's the thing about spiraling down. This is how depression works. When anyone is depressed, they're at the cliff. Right before you get depressed, you're on top of the cliff, looking down what's down there. And you're feeling hopeless. You're having all these negative thoughts ruminating in your head. Which that's why we always say keep your thoughts positive, right? Because that's how we prevent this entire situation from happening. Because once you get depressed, and I don't want to say get depressed because it's not something that you can get into. It's something that you fall into, right? Like you fall in love, you can fall in depression. Because once you fall off that cliff, it's a never-ending spiral. And that's when it gets to the worst, right? That spiraling, that cliff that you just jumped on, has a never-ending destination. Meaning that you're just going deeper and deeper into the darkness with no way out, because there's no mountains to climb from, if you don't know how to mountain climb. But the gravity and the force of that fall is just too great that it's impossible for you to get up yourself now, unless you see that light shining and calling on you. Think of the movie Frozen, right? Elsa, the older daughter, she had this calling, and it was this voice inside her that she couldn't explain, and she just had to follow it because it was just unescapable, right? She heard it all over her. It was just all over her aura. And this is her being called by God, she was being awoken, and she was being challenged with believing and trusting wherever she was being guided to go. She ended up being alone up in the mountains, in the ice mountains, for a while, because she was afraid of her own abilities, of her own power, right? But this power, this influence, was to be used for good, for light. At the end of the movie, she made everybody's life that much better. She brought happiness, she brought joy, and she brought hope to all the people who were in this never-ending storm, this never-ending winter, which is representative of depression, right? Because there is such a thing as seasonal depression for that reason, because the sun is what gives us this life force, this happiness, this vitality. And that city, that town, was having no sun, and she brought back joy with bringing snow and fun things for the children and the light from the sunlight. So what I'm trying to say is that you need to choose to see the light, because it's always knocking on your door. But many times when people are already in that stubborn place, they don't see the gold. They don't see the new possibilities, the endless possibilities. When something drastic or horrible happens in your life, many people, for example, right now, are going through much financial issues, economic issues, right? Maybe you lost a business, you lost a job. Maybe you lost a loved one. Maybe you lost your life, right? What is the lesson in that? What is something better? I always like to say, when I see this happen in people's life, or even when it happens in my life, I need to get honest with myself, because I know that that happened to save me. Because whether I was in denial or not admitting this truth to myself, something was wrong. You were not happy. You were not balanced. You were not aligned. And so these things come into our life to shake us up, to wake us up, to make us forcefully admit the truth to ourselves. Because you could be faking it to those around them. You could be pretending that this is the life that you want. But God sees you right through you. So, like we said on day one, everything happens for us, not to us. It's always to construct something better, right? And in order to build something new, something better, we need to deconstruct the old that wasn't working. Because that's taking up space in our life, in our hearts, in our time, in our energy. So we need to clear the way to make this new magic happen. And it's gonna be better. It's gonna be more full of light. Because God wants it that way. That's part of God's blueprint. It's all written already in a plan. So we just need to go with the flow, literally, right? Because this flow, think of the Nile River, okay? The Egyptian Nile River. This Nile River is the most extraordinary blessing for the Egyptians back in the day, right? And perhaps nowadays too. Yet at the same time, it was one of the biggest curses. Now, how is that possible? Because back in the day, the Egyptians had one of the most extraordinary fruitful crops and agriculture because of that Nile River. It was so abundant because it had so much water. But when it came in a flood, and it flooded the entire Egypt country. And then when it went away, there was no water. So it was like both extremes. And sometimes we need to go through that in life. Sometimes we need to go through these extremes to know what we don't want, so that we can actually know what we do want, you see? And to actually appreciate the good times the good love, the good people, the good God that is always around us, protecting us and guiding us. And that's what continuously gives us hope, because they already knew that the good was coming, right? So the Egyptians had no fear. They just awaited for that timing patiently. And they rejoiced every time that it came in flood, because it was abundant. They even made rituals out of that. It was really amazing. And that's something that I learned in Egyptian mythology in my School of Light. And yeah, so we need to think outside the bubble, outside the bigger picture, and open our eyes to these new ways of going about our whole life, our whole purpose, and having hope that if things don't work out, it's for the best, because there's a better way. And not complain about it, not doubt it as well, because that's you interrupting the process of manifestation. And that's you telling God, I don't believe in you, or I don't trust you. And in order to have hope, hope is equated to trust in God, trust in self, that yes, you can do it, you can make it happen, you have the capabilities to do these things that God's telling you to do, because he wouldn't have given you those duties if he didn't believe that you had those abilities, right? So during moments of hardships, what do? Don't quit and lose hope. Don't spiral and fall back, but rather get back up and reach new heights. Fly. Open up your wings and see what you're made of, see what you're capable of. You'd be surprised how much of a drastic transformation I've seen people make in their lives. There's many examples out there, many leaders who have been through those situations. And it all happens because they believed in themselves. So today I'm asking you to believe in yourself and have this hope with you as your treasure, because this is what's all going to keep us in the light and above water. When we feel like we're sinking in our emotions, when we feel like we're being drowned by all this chaotic energy, by all this drama, don't let that get the best of you. Don't let it take your power away. Take your power back and stand in your hope. Let your hope be your shield. And let your faith be your sword. And that's how you become a warrior of light, a light worker here today. So all of you listening today, I am blessing you all. And I know that you're all meant to do something special. So your job today is to figure out what that special is and do something about it. Maybe you losing your job or losing that business that was perhaps already faulty, because nothing solid gets destroyed. And the only thing that's solid in this world is when it's based off God, right? When all of those bricks were made with God in mind, when all of those sweats and tears and hours and energy of hard work were being done alongside with God, spiritually aligned, body, mind, and spirit, every second of it, because every second matters, and every second God's there watching, not judging, just watching. So we create our own destiny. So make sure that whatever you're creating now, this newness, is truly in alignment with your destiny, with giving hope to the world, to others, for future generations to come. Because that's what God wants us to do. If he takes something away, it's either to make you appreciate it more, or it's either to build something better. So really this requires a lot of honesty, authenticity, and rawness. Getting vulnerable with ourselves and with the world. Don't kid yourself, because you're not kidding anybody but yourself. So that's how I'm going to leave you all today. Spread your wings and fly. Like the metaphor of that butterfly, right? Many of you right now are in this cocoon. And in this cocoon, in this womb, where the fetus lies, right? It's all dark. But it doesn't mean that when this person, this soul gets out of that cocoon, it's not going to be something spectacular. A beautiful butterfly full of color. Not just black and white, not just gray, but color. Because color is what gives us life. Color is what makes art, right? So we are to be artistic in these times. Stay creative. That's what's going to give you hope. That's what's going to inspire you in ways that you can't even imagine. Even my own self, during these moments, I've been tapping into my own creative self. I've taken a step back because I needed that in my life. Create more balance, remember who I am, remember what I love to do. And now that I'm filled with love to give, that I've been re-energized by God, recalibrated, you could say, reset. Every time that you experience a pause in your life, it's a reset button. God is trying to readjust you, realign you. So let Him heal you, let Him teach you. And just be receptive, open your arms, open your heart, and just be. And speak it all, speak your truth, because if this were your last day on earth, would you be okay with leaving? Did you do everything that you wanted to? Did you say everything you wanted to? Did you love as much as you wanted to? Ask yourself all these questions, because this is how we should be living on a daily basis, even when we're in the best times of our life. On the contrary, during the best moments of our life, it's actually more important that we remember God even more. Because those are not the times to stop praying, to stop being grateful, to stop meditating, to stop engaging in your spiritual practice, to stop caring for yourself because everything's so good. No. Every single moment is a moment to be aligned, health and wellness, and have hope for a continuous better future. Because that's how we progress towards better generations, right? That's how we evolve. There's yet a lot to evolve, okay? We're only human right now at a certain level. Many of us have awoken way more than many years ago. But there's still more yet to be. So never stop, because this evolution is unstoppable. And it's continuing to grow even more. And to give you, I guess, something to reach for, your goal as to what exactly we're striving for, we are all to become these perfect enlightened beings. And I know how far-reaching that sounds, but that's the goal. That's what we're being helped to be, to reach at. And I know this is going to take many years, many lifetimes, but many people are closer there than they think. And it's contagious, and this is what we're being called to share. So stop hiding, all you light workers out there who are afraid to share this light, because I've been there, and that's fear, that's low vibration. So get out of the closet and shine that light. Be positive. Face the negativity in the eye and shine your light, because God is right there beside you, protecting you, helping you to heal others. So that's how we can all have hope for a better future, because I already see it. Now the timeline as to when it's coming, that's up to God. And it's better that it's unknown, right? Because this just means that it's up to us. We can make it happen right now if we choose to. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna stay in love or are you gonna stay in fear? Choose love, because love is the key to this new world. Love is the key to everything. Love is the key to heaven, to God, to ascension, and to ultimate enlightenment. So thank you all lightworkers out there watching today's video, today's motivational speech. And I'm wishing you all a blessed journey. Check out a new Utami Intensive Soul Coaching program. It's really going to help you on this transition of your life. Much blessings, much love and light. Namaste.